Hello and welcome to another episode of FPL Escapades. My name is 𝗧𝗘𝗔𝗡𝗥, and as always, I am joined by my close friend Anand to discuss FPL assets for Game Week 35. Anand, welcome back, man. It's been one a long week that we've not spoken about football yet again, and it was an eventful week as a United fan per se, with all of the protests coming out for against Glazers. So, all in all, how did you feel about that, and how was Game Week 34 FPL wise?
Well, FPL took a back seat, and it was really, really bad because I had six assets from the United Liverpool match, and because that game got postponed, it just didn't do really well for my FPL team. But having said that, I felt the protest is something which has been something which probably you could say that it was about to happen. Uh, the community is not at all happy with the ownership, and regarding this matter, I would rather not say a lot at the moment, because at the end of the day, if the Glazers can realize their mistake and if they can come and rectify it, there's nothing better than that. So it's all about second chances or something like that. And that is why I would not rather say anything on this topic, because at the end of the day, running a club is not an easy task. So yes, if there are owners who would do much better for the club, that'll be great. But yeah, honestly speaking, there's nothing much to say on this on my part, especially looking at it from India, and that too, which is so far off from England. But yes, I still do feel uh, that the ownership has to rectify some of its methods that they have been doing. This season, they did have done some good things. They have brought in the likes of Darren Fletcher back into the team on a technical role. So they are making some changes. Hopefully, they're for good reasons. And but yes, like I said, can't just speak a lot at the moment about the matter. But your game week, I saw Watkins and Semedo coming in, so you would be pretty happy because of that postponement.
Yeah, I happened to be lucky enough, but like just like you said, you had six assets. I had five from the United Liverpool game, and so eventually two of them ended up not getting auto subbed and not playing. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, I completely agree with you. Like sitting here in India and talking about the protest, it does look like a long time coming. I think it's been 16 years, and the supporters back at Manchester have not really been pleased, and I think this was bound to happen, and it did erupt. I personally feel that this might be a cause of concern because the kind of way the supporters behaved, and outside the hotel and at Old Trafford as well. I do think there might be hints that another match might get postponed or cancelled like that because. Until unless the security is not increased, I think that remains a concern. But I was pretty happy with the way the entire protest went, and there was definitely the breach of the COVID protocols, but thankfully it was a peaceful protest. Nobody got injured. There was, uh, you know, um, no deaths or no heavy injuries. So that is something that we obviously look. We want to not happen as supporters of a club, but definitely I completely agree with you. Like sitting here discussing about the ownership, definitely even, and like if you're an owner of a club like Manchester United, which is such a big brand name, it is definitely not easy to run. Definitely the Glazers family would should have rather or could have handled the situation much better. But yeah, I feel that the protests were a long time coming, and I personally for one feel that we might able be seeing a lot more of them in the coming days. I just hope that matches don't get cancelled or postponed like it did from an FPL perspective. But yeah, then again, it might be a blessing in disguise where United play a double game week and do not have a blank. Liverpool don't have a blank anymore, so that is how it goes. But yeah, I mean, we always have something like this year has been such that we've had something to talk about week in and week out. But yeah, I think Anand, it's time to finally jump onto how you fared in game week 34, and I mean Rafinha not playing would have hurt you. So all in all, I think 6 7 players did not play or feature in your team in game week 34. So that ought to hurt. And how big red arrows did you see?
Yeah, after knowing that, only three strikers and just the three defenders and the keeper, just 7 players playing, I didn't bother checking what kind of arrows did I get. But yeah, courtesy Inacho, at least he was my vice captain, so Kelechi did continue his wonder form that he's in. Also just before I started talking about this, I also just wanted to, from from my open arms and warm heart, I would like to tell and talk about the COVID situation here in India. So a lot of people are suffering from it. A lot of families are suffering from it, and like prayers and strength for everybody. And unfortunately, I have been on a receiving end as well. Even a close relative, passed away. So, but yes, the way the season has been going, the year rather has been going, it has been a big shock because of so many people losing their lives and everything. So once you get a lot of shock, it's difficult to absorb another. It becomes like that. But when there is darkness, you are, it's almost certain that there will be sunshine as well. And talking about sunshine, our friend Akshay got married. So many congratulations, Akshay. This is a big moment for you, and I hope a lot of good moments ahead for you. But yes, now coming back to the team, you know, like I said, it's just 25 points. What should I do? Is it even worth checking out these teams?
I absolutely concur. Like when I look at your team and when I look at my team, there's not a lot of difference. I think only 7 points separate us, and thankfully, that Semedo did give an assist, and he was able to come off the bench courtesy of that blank game week. And even though my captain did not really fire, and Lucas Moura did not feature, so that hurt me a bit. But yeah, I completely agree. Like the kind of game weeks that we've had, there's nothing really much to talk about. So rather, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about Spurs and Chelsea. What do you make of them and Manchester City? Since we do not have a lot to discuss about how great or how horrible our game week 34 went. What do you feel about the performance of Spurs and the resurgence of Gareth Bale under Ryan Mason? Do you think he is a potential target? And also, along with Bale, what are your thoughts about Chelsea and Manchester City, specifically because going to play the finals? So, do you have any thoughts about what kind of a team would Pep field now, given that
Yeah,
he has to play a final?
honestly, I feel City assets, if you don't have them or if you have them, it's not a bad time to it's a bad time to sell. I feel, and it's not a bad time to buy them. Honestly, because this year, what I didn't kind of consider, or it was a learning thing for me, was once Chelsea's and Cities and the Leicesters, they started having their knockout competitions because of the FA Cup and the Champions League, and some teams also featuring in the Europa. The point that I didn't consider was some of the teams might still field a strong 11 in the Premier League, just like how Chelsea did. Even before their Champions League match, in the last match, they still fielded a pretty strong team against Fulham. Now the reason is because, as Champions League is very important for them, but at the same time, reaching top four is also very important, and the top four race is pretty tight. Now, City having won the match, now they are absolutely free for a long, long time because the final will happen after some weeks. So now they're absolutely free. They are not in the FA Cup. They have already won the Carling Cup. So their squad is absolutely free. So honestly speaking, for it, I can see them playing with a strong 11 at least in the next couple of game weeks, or maybe at least in this game week. So yeah, if you have City assets, it's a good time to hold them, and if you don't, then probably if you fancy a punt on the likes of Kevin De Bruyne or Foden, definitely. But regarding game week 35, since it's a double game week for so many assets, I personally feel that the likes of the Manchester boys, Manchester United guys, and probably even Liverpool having a double game week in game week 35, and Aston Villa having so even Chelsea. Now we know that Chelsea, no matter what, they are going to field a strong team because they are looking to get that top four seat sorted, irrespective if they win the Champions League or not. So I think Chelsea will play a strong team too. But regarding Chelsea, even if they play a strong team, they play two really difficult matches. One is against City and one is against Chelsea. Sorry, one is against Arsenal. So yeah, categorizing Arsenal as a difficult fixture, I would still say so because it's a London derby. So there would be some fiery moments over there. So it's not going to be that easy for Chelsea. It feels so, at least on the paper. So yeah, but we will move on to our teams, and then probably we can talk about more double game week players and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
Kshitij, what do you think about City or Chelsea, or again, like you mentioned um, about Spurs in general? Because for me, just to add a little bit note, and then you can begin about your analysis with about Chelsea and City. Regarding Spurs, I feel it's just a bit too early to again. Uh, say that if Bale is back in form or not because they played, with all due respect, they played Sheffield, and although he was clinical, just like how Harry Kane and others are, he was very clinical. But you never know what kind of Spurs team is going to, line up in the next games forward, or what type of strategy will they go in with. So these are still the concerns that I have. Yeah.
Yeah,
Over to
I
you, Shitij.
I absolutely agree. And, this is my bus team. So I don't think there's a lot to talk about. I have kind of 6 or 7 players already without any transfers playing the double game week. And I'm pretty happy with the kind of players, the team setup that I have. The only thing that I'm really not happy about is the way my assets have like difficult fixtures. For example, Aston Villa face United and Everton. Aston Villa can definitely turn up, like we've seen them time and time again this season. But having a keeper as well as a striker from such a difficult game week is something that I'm not really comfortable with. But then the likes of Iheanacho, the United boys, also Liverpool, I'm pretty happy with the team that I have presently. Like you correctly mentioned, it is very way too early for Spurs, uh, for us to judge Spurs as to how are they going to perform under pressure and against a team like Leeds, where there'll be a lot of to and fro football with both of the teams trying to attack. And definitely Spurs also have a point to prove, because like you correctly mentioned, the race for top four is so packed, and Spurs are just behind West Ham at sixth. So definitely they would also want a piece of the European uh, championship, be it Europa or UCL, either ways, next season. And that is something that I feel that Ryan Mason would definitely want to field his best team. And talking about his best team, I feel that Gareth Bale right now is preferred over Lucas Moura, like I've seen. Um, at least that is what I feel. And also, uh, ever since or any game that Bale has played, he's actually returned. I think he scored a brace a couple of weeks back as well, and he scored a hat trick now again. So I think, yeah, but I
Yeah, so
mean,
he scored. You're right. In game week 32, he scored a goal. He scored the opener
yeah,
to make it 1-0, and then Sonny, finished
exactly,
in the
yeah.
90th minute. He finished a penalty.
So
He scored a
unfortunately,
goal. Yeah, you're right.
I don't have enough funds to get in Heung-min Son. I might have to get do away with the likes of Jota or Greenwood, which I do not really want to do right now as of yet, because Liverpool assets do play a lot of games and have a sea of green fixtures ahead of them. But yeah, I was not really happy with Watkins because I already have Martinez from Aston Villa and Adams. Like I've said time and time again, that I am somebody who targets fixtures over form or. Uh, because Watkins did score in the last game week or assisted in the last scored in the last game week as well. So but yeah, definitely, I think Shea Adams is somebody I'm targeting to make money basically for Gareth Bale. Unfortunately, I don't have enough money for Son and to get in Adams. To get in Adams and Son, I might have to do away with Ian Acho. That is a risk that I'm not willing to take, given how great he's been performing ever since you got him in your team with that hat trick that he scored. But yeah, so this is my team. This is my transfers that I've lined up, and my 2 cents on City and Chelsea would be to wait till the deadline and the press conferences, because as we know, Chelsea play today against Real Madrid, and City already are in the finals. And I've been reading a lot of tweets from likes of late risers and other FPL community members that Pep has a tendency to start his players who are in the form or in rhythm. So I feel that Mahrez, the likes of Mahrez, Foden, Diaz are the kind of players that I would like to target if I'm going to target City assets. But yeah, it's still too early, and I think I might pass on them this game week. Now, the transfers to Bale is not yet sure because, like you currently correctly said, that it is too way too early, and Spurs do face a more difficult opponent in Leeds in the upcoming game week. So yeah, maybe Bale instead of Bale, I might get in Foden or somebody or Mahrez for that matter. So that is my plan going into game week 35, 1 week at a time. I have stopped, making plans for the long game weeks because that absolutely does not work. Uh, but yeah, what do you feel about this, Anand? And another question that I'd like to throw your way is: do you feel that game week 35 might be one of the final chances to play a triple captainship?
That's pretty interesting. Honestly, I don't see there'll be any other day double game week. So just on the basis of that, yeah, it's probably one of the best game weeks to play your triple captain. Yeah, so that is what I feel at the moment. Uh, because yeah, if two games two games for one player is definitely a very good thing, actually, to be honest. Regarding your team, I feel it's a really good team, to be honest. But I somehow don't understand that Watkins has been giving you a lot of points. But I do understand that he's playing United, and that is why probably you don't want to go over there. But yeah, Watkins has been decent, so you might consider him. But yeah, the point about Adams is not bad too, because he's playing Palace, and Palace has not been really good defensively. So
He's
I
also
think
playing
that's a
Liverpool.
good.
They haven't been good defensively either.
Oh yeah, Liverpool hasn't been, and the reverse fixture, Danny Ings scored a wonder goal. Actually, not I wouldn't say a wonder goal, but actually it was a really good finish by
Yeah.
Danny Ings in that match. But yeah, Danny Ings, I don't know if he's gonna be fit by then or not. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Regarding Bale, I still have my concerns. What happens to Bale when his team has to defend? Against Sheffield, um, it it became a bit too easy for him. Running all the way from halfway mark. And kudos to Sheffield. Even if they're relegated, they were trying to win the match. And Bale literally ran from the halfway field and scored a goal. And they Sheffield presented some more such opportunities. Even Son scored a very similar sort of a goal, but he was ruled offside. So yeah, regarding Bale, I don't know because honestly speaking, there's so many good budget midfielders out there who have a good potential as well. Correctly, like you mentioned, even Mahrez is in good form at the moment. So yeah, they're good points. But yeah, it's if your gut feeling says that Bale is back at his best, and he has a point to prove as well just before the Euros, and could be a really good choice as well. He's already scored 3 goals in his last 2 game weeks, so could be a great point, honestly speaking. One more thing. This is not related to your team, but in general. So there are three basic criteria. There are three possibilities rather uh, for the double game week 35. So the first possibility is Liverpool to get a double game week. The second possibility is that Liverpool will not get a double game week. Rather, United will not have a blank in 36. And the third possibility is um, United's points will be deducted. They'll be given a -3 because at the end of the day, the security of a football stadium is under the football club itself. So Liverpool were traveling to Old Trafford, so it was the role of United to provide them security and to make sure that the match happens. But these are special times. The Premier League also understands that because of ESL, the European Super League, this protest might just be like, the ESL might just be the catalyst for this protest. So maybe because of that, maybe because of special conditions, the Premier League will be sympathetic towards United and probably will try and reschedule this match. I hope that's the case. Also, going back with how Premier League does their business, it's a lot about money in Premier League, and the Liverpool United match is definitely going to earn them a lot of money because of the broadcasting rights. So I still feel that the match can go ahead, and if that is something that will happen, then you have like really good picks and players for not just for game week 35, but for game week 36 as well. So yeah, you have loads of them, to be really honest. Like whatever benching headache we were having in the last game week, that who should we bench or who should we transfer out for the blind game week 36. A lot of that has died down. Yeah, we did suffer in a way because a lot of our players did not play, but now is the time to relax, to be honest, and not worry about your benches at all, because straight away you just can put in 𝗧𝗘𝗏𝗧𝗏 and Iheanacho on your bench, and your team is even sorted for game 36. So that way, it's gonna be good. But overall, really really good team. Lingard's hot on form, and his fixtures are just turning good. So Lingard is a really good player too.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
he just has one difficult.
after Everton, I think
Yeah,
his fixtures turn for the better again.
yeah, absolutely. And I don't think Everton is also a pretty difficult fixture. I think it's a decent fight for sure, but not like
Absolutely,
not
and with
definitely not a.
Antonio coming back, their attacking West Ham's attacking
Yeah.
is again gone through the roof, so that is pretty great. But yeah, a lot of discussion about my team. Anand, what are your plans, man? What are your plans for Game Week 35?
Yeah. So like I hope Liverpool has a double. If Liverpool has a double, Super Emmy has. So my keeper has a double. Castagna, Shaw, and Trent, they'll have a double. Jota, Salah, Bruno, Rashford, they'll have a double. Watkins will have a double, and Kelechi will have a double. Now Bamford is the only one who doesn't have a double in it, but I'm every time I decide to put Bamford on the bench or something, I really feel uncomfortable. So he's going to stay there. I really really feel uncomfortable when I have to bench or transfer him out. It's that sort of feeling with him, because I think at the end of the day, Bamford has huge potential in terms of scoring goals because of the number of chances he gets. But yes, this week around, I will be a little bit skeptic about having Bamford in my team or not. As in like, I won't transfer him out for sure, but whether to put him on my bench, that is something that I'll have to see. So there are some thoughts that I have regarding regarding who should I get in. But before we get over there, if I go in with this team, Kshitij, what do you feel about it? Do you think that whether I should change something in this team or not?
I mean, you only have, I think, one player who's won't be having a double game week if Liverpool were to have a double game week announced. So it doesn't get better than this at this kind of point in the season. And I believe you also have your triple captainship left. And like if Liverpool do have that double game week, Salah. does make for an absolute peach of a triple captain pick. So I would not complain one bit with the team that you have, and irrespective of anyone else you would have on your bench. I mean, you can definitely go ahead, bank a transfer, go ahead with this team, and not care about what you have to do in the future. So I personally pretty
I
happy.
can't bank Shiraj, I can't bank a transfer because, like you, even I have true free transfers. So if I
Uh,
don't make a transfer, I'm literally going to waste
I
one
mean,
because you can
then
just
you
carry one transfer.
I mean, then you just take a punt on any player that you want who does not have a double game week, or get in somebody who has a double game week. That is the simplest thing that you can do, because absolutely great team, man. Like the kind of FPL assets that you have, I'm not sure anyone can complain. Okay, I'm a little skeptic about Martinez, like I said, because he has Everton and United both at home though, so that is still better. But yeah, United and Everton both have, the potential of scoring, and but knowing Martinez and the kind of season that he's having, easily can give you a lot of save points as well. So yeah, I won't
Yeah.
complain with the kind of team that you have right now. But even though
Mm,
I won't complain, I'm pretty certain that you would have some transfer plans. What are those?
yeah. So at the moment, I'm sick and tired of Alonso. Okay, it's enough of him. So
Finally,
goodbye. The,
finally.
Finally, there was a time I was sick and tired of Size, and I still ended up having him for 10 weeks. So Alonso belongs to a very similar ilk, and that's the situation. I'm getting rid of him. Enough of him. Don't show me your face ever. That's the sort of farewell I want to give this guy. But yeah, I want to get in Dini, or I'm not 100% sure at the moment because I'm gonna start Alex Shaw and 𝗧𝗘𝗏𝗏 at the back, and I'm planning to just start three at the back, four in midfield, and three forwards. But yeah, my decision will so I have two things right now in my head. One is to target game week 35, and one is to target game week 36 onwards. So here the planning is like this. So for example, if the likes of Rafinha and Calvin Phillips are not fit, in that scenario, I would probably bench Bamford because Rafinha and Phillips they do kind of they do if they play Leeds stick a lot better with them in the squad. So because of that reason, if they are one of even if one of them is fit, probably I will I will start Bamford and I will look to bring in a player, say somebody from West Ham who has a really good who has really good fixtures from game week 36 onwards. So and just bench the West Ham defender this game week, and I'll start with the likes of, like I said, Alex Shaw and 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏. And otherwise, if there are any kind of signs that Rafinha or Calvin Phillips they are fit, then in that scenario, yeah. So if they are fit, then like I said, I'll start with I'll bring in 𝗬𝗏 or something like that. But if Rafinha or Calvin Phillips are not fit, then probably I'll just bench Bamford. Although, like I said, I'm so uncomfortable doing that, but I'll bench Bamford, and instead, what I'll do is I'll bring in another defender or a midfielder. So a defender could be like a Dean or a Coleman. They have a double game week as well. And another thing is that Dean or Coleman they'll be playing Sheffield United in game week 34. So, bringing in an Everton player kind of does the business till game week 36 at least, because 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏 will not be playing in game week 36. So, and Shaw will be playing Liverpool. So Shaw versus Trent will be another battle. So, there'll be a lot of benching headache once again in terms of who should I pick. So in that scenario, probably having a Dean or a Coleman will help me out in that particular scenario because they'll be playing Sheffield United. So yeah, that is where I am kind of inclined at the moment. So yeah, like I said, if Phillips or Rafinha fit, I'll start with Bamford and I'll just bring in 𝗬𝗏 or Cresswell. But just in case they are not, then maybe I'll just get in a Dean or a Coleman and bench Bamford and start with four defenders. So that's what I've thought at the moment. Not really excited bringing in an Everton player, to be really honest. But yeah, sometimes um, you know whatever you get, you just have to bring from the. So there are not many teams who are going to have a good double game week. And Everton, they'll be playing West Ham and Villa. So I just hope that if I'm getting in teams, I'll be hoping just for a 7 or 8 pointer, to be really honest, not more than that. And it will be game week 36 that I'll be eyeing more. I'll be expecting more returns from Dean or Coleman against Sheffield. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking right now. What do you feel, Shiv, about this?
I mean, the kind of plan that you have for game week 35, 36 is a more elaborate plan that I've had the entire season this season. So definitely a great deal of thought has gone into it, and definitely I'm pretty certain that the kind of plans that you have, or a plan that an FPL manager has before going into a game week, is definitely a lot thought through, and your plan does make absolute sense. I would not, even if Rafinha does not start, if Calvin Phillips does not start, I might, if I were in your position, I think I might not bench Bamford, because with Bamford, like we've seen a couple of times already this season, that you never know when he's going to fire
Yeah.
under Bielsa. And again, going circling back to our initial conversation with Jim before the start of the season, when we spoke about Leeds. I mean, they do play attacking football, and there was a really good point that was made, that if Bielsa is able to convert Bamford into a finishing striker, which I feel that he has succeeded around 85-90% already this season, he would go on to have an amazing season, which already for your
Yeah.
first season in EPL, he's done really well. So I think Bamford is somebody
Mm-hmm.
definitely to look at. And given that after game week 35, his match against Tottenham, he has three fixtures who are really simple for him and for a team
Absolutely,
like Leeds.
absolutely.
So
Yeah, game
definitely,
week 36 onwards. Game week 36 onwards, Kshatrij, I agree with you regarding Bamford. Anyway, sorry to interrupt your chain of
yeah,
thought.
no,
Go ahead.
and I also agree with your point regarding Digne and Coleman, that with Everton assets, you might not really, aim for game week 35, because, like you correctly mentioned, hardly any team has a great double game week fixture. Even Southampton, who do face Crystal Palace on one hand, end up facing Liverpool on the other. Similar is the case with the likes of Aston Villa, as well as United, who play Leicester, which is not going to be uh, you know, a simple game for them, no matter what. So definitely a great. I mean, I'm pretty happy with your pick of Dine. I think the best thing is to, if you have two free transfers, like you said, I think uh, using one to get in an asset where you can target game week 36 makes absolute sense. And maybe when we talk next week, I think you might have two free transfers utilized, and maybe -4. You never know. But looking at your team, you look pretty sorted for game week 36. A lot of players, a lot of FPL assets with that light green fixture definitely is something to look forward to. So yeah, I feel it's good. I think the strategy is pretty nice, and once you get it into play, definitely will give you ample returns, is what I feel. But yeah, like before I come to the most important question of each episode, if Liverpool were to have a double game week announced, would you play your triple captain on Salah, or would you go with our boy Bruno this week? What would be your thoughts?
Yeah, very, very, very interesting question, to be really honest.
Because I see
you
you
know,
don't have Greenwood.
going
So if you ask me, I might just play a punt on Greenwood with the triple captain. I never know.
that's a pretty nice call actually, because Greenwood's playing really well. In fact, I might bring in Greenwood also. Utilize another transfer and remove Rashford and get in Greenwood. I might do that too. But again, regarding Greenwood, the good news is tomorrow is United versus Roma. So that's the good news. We will get to know the playing minutes of who starts, who plays more minutes, whether it's Rashford or Greenwood, and more importantly, who plays well too, whether it's Rashford or Greenwood. So I'm gonna again look at the Europa match between United and Roma, although sort of a dead rubber, but you can never count out Roma. We've seen them in the past. They have turned a deficit. They beat Barca once. They
Absolutely.
lost the first match 4-1, and in the second leg they won 3-0. So yeah, Roma has the potential. But anyway, coming back to the point, the thing with Salah is if Salah gets a double game week, it's going to be against Southampton and West Brom, and it can't get more juicy than that. He's definitely going to be the firm top contenders for this. But again, even the United boys will be really top picks for everybody if they have a double game week. Actually, at the moment, the United boys are the firm favorites for captaincy this week because their double game week is confirmed, while Liverpool's not. So yeah, it at the moment as things stands, Bruno it is all the way. And if there are changes made to the game week 35 schedule where Liverpool also gets the double, then yes, it's let's see. It will be really difficult choosing one between the two
Absolutely.
because
Then it
both
becomes
have
really
been
tricky. Then it becomes really tricky
yeah yeah
for your
yeah it
captainship.
becomes really tricky. Absolutely, it becomes really tricky. But the thing is, what should we in that scenario? What should we target? It will be more like form versus fixture. So United will have the form with them. Again, it depends on how they play in Roma. Although one match doesn't change the form of a team, they've been good throughout the season, and that is why they are sitting at second. The table doesn't lie, and they are second for a reason. And I also feel personally that choosing between Bruno and Salah, it's going to be difficult because Salah will have fixtures and Bruno will have bomb with him. So yeah, if United wins 5-0 or 6-0 again, and I against Roma, then I wouldn't doubt putting the captain's armband on Bruno. Even in the last week we saw that Harry Kane is most informed player playing against the bottommost team, Sheffield. Just a simple call to captain him, correct? But he didn't score.
Yeah.
So it may happen with anybody. The best player in the league might not score, but again, who is the best pick as a captain for a particular week as per form? I think Bruno it is, but
Uh,
and even the anybody from United for that matter, to be honest, because players are looking in good form. But Salah is the king, man. You
yeah,
can't
absolutely,
count
man.
him out.
And I don't know what I'm gonna do if Liverpool gets announced with a double game week because I don't think I'll feel comfortable going into a game week where Liverpool have a double game week and the kind of opponents that they face without Salah. So yeah, definitely my eyes are all on Twitter and most of my time is being spent to figuring out when or if
What will be your plan though, Kshitij? What will be your plan though?
I
I
have
mean, you were
I
thinking
have
of
no
getting in
clue.
Bale.
I have absolutely
So
no clue. I might get rid of Kane for all I know, and somebody from the midfield to make money for Salah. You never know. But yeah, definitely, like you
yeah,
correctly pointed out, with the kind of fixtures that Liverpool might get in the double game week, going without Salah will not make sense. But yeah, for now, definitely the armband is on Bruno because, like you correctly said, that United have a confirmed double fixture. But yeah, I mean, we talk about so many things, and at this kind of stage in the season, when differential might be the way to gain those last few ranks to reach your target for that you set for yourself as an FPL manager for the season. I think playing differential might help us as FPL managers to,
lots to learn.
yeah,
Lots to learn, Kshitij.
definitely lots to learn.
Last four game weeks, I wouldn't say experiment as much you want, but the things that you stand for, go with it, and see how it does for you. And it will be a massive learning curve. It has already been a massive learning curve for us.
Yeah,
The things that you
absolutely.
believe in, the things that you stand for, just go for it in the last four game weeks because, um, you know, the learnings will be massive for the next year.
Absolutely, and yeah, like if you finish on a high, you definitely we'll be very keen to get the 21-22 season underway at with the form that you left this season. But yeah, definitely, to your point, absolutely bang on. Uh, all of our managers, all of our listeners, subscribers should definitely experiment a little, not a lot, just a little. If you have a gut feel of captaining somebody from a differential team or a small team altogether, go for it. And maybe the odds are in your favor and you get the green arrows and the
Yeah,
target that you set out for yourself. So yeah, I mean,
yeah, yeah,
it's
absolutely, Kshitij. Yeah,
uh,
absolutely. Kshitij, just before you wrap up, I just forgot asking you a thing. Uh, what do you think about Chelsea defenders for the double game? Just wanted to know your opinion. Although I know just after the double game week, they have the FA Cup final and they'll be playing Real tonight. So in between the Champions League match and the FA Cup, they have two Premier League matches sandwiched. So what's your take on Chelsea defenders for these two matches?
I mean, uh, Chelsea defense has been okayish in my view. I've not had a Chelsea defender as an asset throughout the season.
Kante brings them a lot of stability. To be honest, their defense is not so good, but Kante makes a huge
I
difference in
mean,
that
that
team
depends.
whenever he plays.
That depends also. Like, if you are talking about from a football perspective, definitely Kante brings in a lot of stability, and the likes of Christensen and Thiago Silva, you can bank on them. But when you look at it from an FPL asset perspective, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
I have, that kind of a confidence on any other Chelsea defender other than Aspi. For me personally, he might not be playing
Mm-hmm.
regularly. He might be playing
Yeah,
regularly, but
yeah, that's how SPL is going. With, probably 3-4 game weeks back, he was probably the guy who can never be rotated. But in the last 4 game weeks, he has been rotated twice.
yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
that's the
So I
yeah.
would get behind Alonso as well, but I mean nobody knows the plight of Alonso more than you. Like he's being benched left, right, and center, and not being starting. So yeah, for me, I think Chelsea defense. There's a lot to be seen. The game against Madrid today, and double game week. I think the team might be rotated again because Tuchel has players at his disposal to rotate freely, and then they have the FA Cup final as well. So I think Chelsea. I would steer away from Chelsea's defense, but definitely the likes
Mm-hmm.
of Mount, Havertz, or you know. Timo Werner as well. After today's game, you never know whoever. I think Kai Havertz is the pick right now. I suggested it to one of my friends, but he instead of going with Havertz went with Pulisic. So his bad, but yeah, I was pretty happy that Havertz scored a brace. So yeah, all in all, I think stay away from Chelsea's defense, and if you want to invest, maybe go for a mid or a forward would be my suggestion.
Who's the forward though?
I mean, you go with Timo, man. You go with Timo. I think
Yeah.
if you're because if you're going with a Chelsea attacker, I feel that you're going a differential as is, and if you're going differential, I think there's no better player than Timo. Even though his FPL season hasn't been really great, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he has the absolute
Yeah.
potential of
What if
firing
he ends on a bang? Yeah. What if
yeah,
he ends on a bang?
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and Anand, with that, I think it's time for us to wrap. And to all of our supporters and listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. All of our social media links are down in the description. Do give us a follow. If you like the content that we bring you, smash that like and subscribe button. It really helps us as upcoming YouTube content creators. And as always, we hope you've enjoyed this video. Have a good one. And as always, may the arrows be green. Peace.